There's a certain voice on the internet that you just can't forget. It's monotone, eerie, and strangely addictive. That voice belongs to Chills, the YouTuber behind viral countdowns, haunted footage, and the unforgettable meme, number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. But what happens when the very thing that made you famous becomes the reason people turn away? This is the story of Dylan, aka Chills, a Canadian content creator whose rise to YouTube fame was meteoric, whose fall was brutal, and whose comeback proved that sometimes the internet just can't look away. Now, before he became an internet legend, Dylan was just another teenager with a laptop and a big imagination in Calgary, Alberta. Born on January 31st, 1998, he was like many kids of his generation, hooked on the internet, fascinated by creepy stories, and always curious about the unknown. But unlike most, he decided to do something about it. He started creating videos, not for fame or followers, but simply because he loved the strange and mysterious. In 2014, Dylan launched a YouTube channel called Top 15s. The idea was straightforward: countdowns of eerie footage, paranormal encounters, unsolved mysteries, and bizarre real-world events. It was the kind of content that made you turn the lights back on at night. But while there were already plenty of spooky YouTube channels out there, Dylan's had something very different. It was the voice. His narration was slow, monotone, and oddly drawn out. Each word sounded like it was floating through a fog. Some people said it sounded robotic, others said it was creepy, but almost everyone agreed on one thing: it was impossible to ignore. Whether you loved it or hated it, once you heard it, you remembered it. And in the world of YouTube, where millions of creators are fighting to stand out, that kind of memorability is golden. Over time, that strange voice became his signature. It was a huge part of the brand. And with each new upload, more people tuned in, not just for the content, but for him, for that weird, unforgettable narration that somehow made even the most outrageous stories feel believable. Just like that, the mysterious persona known as Chills was born. And for Dylan, the journey from anonymous teenager to internet icon had officially begun. The moment Chills' content hit the algorithm just right, it was like a spark meeting gasoline. His videos began pulling in millions of views, thanks to a perfect recipe of mystery, creepiness, and just the right amount of internet weirdness. Titles like Top 15 Scariest Things Caught on Camera and Top 15 Ghost Sightings practically dared you not to click. They played on our primal love for spooky stories and unexplained events. And in the center of it all, that unforgettable voice. Dylan's narration wasn't just part of the video, it was the video. That slow, almost surreal delivery turned already eerie stories into something way more unsettling. And in an online world where everyone is yelling to get your attention, Dylan's quiet, calm weirdness stood out like a whisper in a storm. But then it happened. The moment that would etch Chills into the internet's permanent memory bank. Number 15, Burger King foot lettuce. It came from a video about gross things found in fast food, and that single line, odd, awkward, and completely hilarious, spread like wildfire. People couldn't get enough of it. TikTok remixes, gaming streams, meme compilations, it was everywhere. Some laughed at it, sure, but most laughed with it. It was pure internet gold. For many, that was their first time hearing Chills. For Dylan, it was validation, the payoff for years of consistency and sticking to his unique style. Instead of being embarrassed by the viral attention, he leaned into it. He knew his voice was what made him different, so he ran with it. And then he took a bold step, not just making creepy content, but creating music. Songs like All in My Head and Dreamland kept the haunting tone, but added a new artistic layer. The voice that once narrated ghost stories was now delivering emotionally charged lyrics over chilling beats. Just like that, Chills evolved from that guy with the weird voice to a full-blown internet persona. He wasn't just part of meme culture anymore, he was shaping it. And for the first time, people realized he wasn't just playing a character. This was him, authentic, eerie, and unforgettable. But as the internet giveth, it also taketh away. As Chills' fame grew, so did the criticism. What once made Chills an internet icon, the voice, the eerie pacing, the surreal tone, began to work against him. At first, the internet embraced his uniqueness, but over time, that same uniqueness turned into a punchline. His voice, once hypnotic and haunting, became the subject of parody after parody. YouTubers mocked it. TikTokers exaggerated it, gamers used it as a joke, it was satire, it was memes, and it was everywhere, but not in the way Chills had hoped. The shift was slow, but it was real. The memes that once boosted his popularity started to feel mean-spirited. His fan base, once fiercely loyal, began to shrink. Viewers started pointing out flaws, videos that sounded too similar, stories that lacked credibility, and editing that hadn't improved with time. The spooky charm was losing its edge. Worse, the YouTube landscape was changing. New horror narrators were popping up, creators with better visuals, stronger storytelling, and more engaging personalities. These creators were loud, energetic, and dynamic. Everything Chills wasn't, and the algorithm noticed. As trends evolved, Chills' upload was pushed further down, buried under fresher, flashier content. People started whispering that maybe Chills had peaked, that maybe he was just a viral fluke, another creator who had their moment and faded out. The phrase Burger King foot lettuce became more of a relic than a badge of honor. His music, which had once been a bold step into something new, was also under fire. Critics claimed his flat delivery didn't translate well to music. Some listeners didn't get the haunting, detached vibe he was going for. And when he finally did a long-anticipated face reveal, an internet milestone for mysterious creators, it didn't explode the way he'd imagined. There was curiosity, sure, but the mystique, it vanished. Suddenly, Chills felt exposed, not just visually, but creatively. The mask had slipped, and behind it was a creator struggling to find his place in a space that was evolving fast. For a time, it genuinely looked like the internet was ready to move on. The hype was dying down, the jokes weren't funny anymore, and the silence from fans, that was the scariest part of all. But Chills wasn't done. When it seemed like Chills had faded into the background, something unexpected happened. He didn't quit. Most viral creators, once the momentum dies down, disappear quietly. They stop uploading, they start over under new names, or worse, they try to radically change their image and lose whatever was left of their fan base. But not Dylan. He didn't vanish, he didn't rebrand. Instead, he doubled down, quietly, consistently, and with purpose. Rather than running from the voice that made him famous and infamous, Chills leaned into it. He understood that the internet's attention span is short, but its memory is long, and he knew there was power in being recognizable. So, instead of trying to be someone else, he focused on being better at being Chills. He began improving his content without changing his essence. His videos became more polished, the visuals were upgraded, the storytelling more focused, and the topics deeper. Instead of just listing scary clips, he started diving into lesser-known mysteries, real-life crimes, and fan-submitted paranormal encounters. His uploads were still creepy, but now they felt more curated, more thoughtful. And then, something even more interesting happened. He started gaining a new audience. Younger viewers who hadn't grown up with the Burger King foot lettuce meme found him through recommendations. They weren't mocking his voice, they were intrigued by it. For them, Chills wasn't a joke from 2018, he was the guy who told the creepiest stories on YouTube. His music also found its rhythm. With better production and more refined songwriting, his tracks started to land with people who appreciated the aesthetic. Instead of trying to sound like everyone else, he leaned harder into his own sound. Detached, eerie, and emotionally heavy. It wasn't pop, and it wasn't supposed to be. It was chill score, a genre of one. He also began to open up more as a person. Through Q&A videos and social posts, fans got a glimpse of the real Dylan, soft-spoken, creative, and surprisingly self-aware. He didn't ignore the memes, he embraced them. He turned the joke around not by fighting it, but by owning it. Bit by bit, Chills wasn't just making a comeback, he was rewriting the rules of what a comeback could look like. Today, Chills stands as something rare in the world of internet fame, a creator who survived and evolved. He's no longer just the Burger King foot lettuce guy. He's proof that even in a landscape that thrives on trends and tosses out yesterday's stars, staying true to your voice, literally and creatively, can still lead to longevity. His journey wasn't linear, there were highs, lows, viral moments and quiet stretches, but through it all, Chills never stopped creating. He showed that you don't always need to shout to be heard. Sometimes, whispering in a strange, unforgettable tone is even more effective, and his influence runs deeper than people realize. Look across YouTube today, and you'll see traces of his DNA everywhere. Creators using deadpan delivery for comedic effect, horror narrators mimicking his pacing, or music artists blending lo-fi beats with monotone vocals. What Chills did was carve out a space for weirdness. He proved that not fitting in can be your biggest strength if you commit to it fully. He also helped redefine what it means to be a creator. He wasn't flashy, he didn't chase trends, he didn't rely on drama. He built an audience not by being loud, but by being distinct. That takes guts in an online world where the pressure to conform is massive. And while people mocked him, they also remembered him. In a sea of forgettable voices, his was the one you couldn't shake. As for Dylan, he never claimed to be perfect, but maybe that's the point. He never tried to be. He just wanted to share creepy stories, make weird music, and connect with people who liked the same things he did. Along the way, he accidentally became a meme, a musician, and a symbol for doing things your own way. So when people talk about Chills now, it's with a mix of nostalgia and respect. He's still uploading, still making music, and still turning heads. Not because he changed to fit the internet, but because he made the internet change for him. That's not just a comeback, that's a legacy. Chills' journey proves that being different can be your greatest strength. From viral memes to music and beyond, he stayed true to his voice, literally, and built a lasting legacy in a space that rarely forgives or forgets. Whether you laughed at Burger King foot lettuce or still get chills from his stories, one thing's clear, you remember him. Now, if you like this deep dive, hit like, subscribe, and tap the bell so you don't miss what's next. Got a creator you want us to cover? Drop their name in the comments, and until next time, stay weird and stay curious.